Real Americans are under siege in their own country from non-white, non-English speaking immigrants, black and brown people more generally, and street violence orchestrated by Antifa, the Black Lives Matter movement, and other boogeymen. America's suburbs are being overrun by criminals understood by default to be black or brown, and patriotic Americans face relentless censorship and discrimination from the forces of wokeness. Teachers and activists are spreading critical race theory in public schools devoted to brainwashing white children into self-hatred. Socialism is running amok and destroying America. Gay men and lesbians have ruined the institution of marriage, and trans people are sexual deviants who loiter in public bathrooms seeking to molest children. Or, more to the point, seduce true American heterosexual manly men. Political correctness is taking away white people's freedoms and oppressing them. Christmas is destroyed. That's the new one. America's Christian values and origins are being disrespected. The country's pristine history as a Christian nation and the shining city on the hill are being canceled by leftist schools. The 1619 Project and other America haters. Western civilization, meaning some imaginary version of what used to be called Christendom, faces existential danger. A really, really cheeky, fabulous article by Salon. What's his name? Shareece De Vega. I saw that. I had been thinking about this video for a while, so welcome. To Spiritual Sense, information for your soul. I am here to encourage your critical thinking and to get you to see that we are not enemies. We really are not. And no one really benefits from othering. Othering is this idea that everyone isn't following your norms, and so they must have negative characteristics. I want to remind you that this is a place for love and healing, light and love, all that wonderful stuff. People over at Fox News understand psychology very well. They're a media company, and all of the media sort of plays on our emotions, but I think Fox News is the most egregious one. What they have done for votes and clicks and views for their advertisers is really unlike anything we've seen since media started to change and become more partisan in the last 50 years, maybe, or less. I think it's a great point, example to look at Tucker Carlson, because he's smarter than you. I mean, he is where he is a lot because his family had money, but also because he knows how to play the game. And I respect people who play the game, who understand how the games work and, decide what works for them. I have a difficult time with people who knowingly understand that people are sheep and that most people want to be guided to a conclusion versus thinking through themselves, like what I do here on my channel, which, is partly why it hasn't really been picked up by the algorithm. If you want to help me do that, please like, subscribe, share this video, because I want critical thinking to become like really, really cool. So folks like Tucker Carlson, there was this clip of him being interviewed about whether he was vaccinated or not. And if I feel like sharing it, I'll share it. But he basically didn't answer the question about whether he was vaccinated. So regardless of how you feel about being vaccinated or not, I understand the importance of, privacy and not wanting to share certain things. But when you have a platform that's sort of geared off of scaring people, controlling people, it would be more helpful to share your vaccination status than to not share it. So a fact about Fox News is 90% of the anchors, the Fox staff, are vaccinated against COVID-19. 90%. I live in Georgia. Right now we're at like a 50% fully vaccination rate. This was back in September, that 90%, this is December I'm in now. Back in September, 90% of the people who worked at Fox News were vaccinated. But the message that Fox News was sharing about vaccination was really one of doom and gloom. The government's trying to control you. They're telling you what to do. Don't follow them, the conspiracy theories of it all. But when you look at the information, almost all of them, and then if they weren't vaccinated, they had to be tested daily for COVID. Daily. Not many places, like hospitals, I think, are the ones testing daily. Not many places are doing that. So they're acknowledging it's a real thing behind the scenes, maybe not on the camera. They're acknowledging it's a real thing. They understand the benefits of the vaccine, right? Trump was one of the first people in the US to get vaccinated. One of the first people. But you wouldn't know that from the way that they talk. I think it's much more helpful to follow what people do. What people do will tell you what their real thoughts are. And so if you're one of the first people to get vaccinated, it tells me that you see value in this vaccination. What benefit, right? Questions for you to ask yourself. What benefits the networks by not sharing that message with you? Because they really are just playing on your emotions. And you know that you're being emotional about it when you say things like, I feel, I think, they make me so angry. When you start name calling people who are different than you, that's when I know you're just talking about feelings and not facts or logic, because facts or logic will lead you to a reasonable place every time. One of the consequences of this rhetoric that I think Fox News has shared just about the vaccination, right? They do a lot of fear mongering for other things, but we've been inundated with the vaccine, COVID stuff for a while. One of the consequences of this is that places that voted heavily conservative, Republican, have some of the worst statistics for death rates of COVID. And I think we're all on the same page that COVID has really killed a lot of people. Maybe not as many people as junk food and fast food, but it's definitely killed a lot of people. And so I think reducing that number, because those people didn't have to die. They were going to die at some point, but they didn't have to die right now, is such a gross neglect of human life, in my opinion, which makes me really concerned. So I'm doing this video because I recently had some experiences with some of my patients who are older white folks who grew up, back in the 1940s, 50s. I think, do I know anyone who was born in 1927? But these are folks who are like in their 60s, 70s. I have a few people in their 80s. And a lot of them watch Fox News to entertain themselves, to find something to be angry about. Because I think watching the news, any news, will help you feel things. And so if you don't really like the way your life is going, it may be enjoyable for you to watch Fox News. I would caution you against watching any sort of news commentary, because generally speaking, it's very toxic, very sad. But the point I wanted to make was, some of my patients are angry that Biden is president. And who was it telling me? They're angry at the president. The president. You could never. You could never. You are very, very unlikely. The people who are most angry are very unlikely to become president. And regardless of whether you think he's good or not, I'm not a fan. But it's still the highest office position that you can have in this country. And saying negative things about the president, I don't know, what does that really say about you and where you stand? And I have people telling me things like he's gonna be impeached. He's not the real one. He's gonna come out. I have patients who are like name calling black senators and Congress people, and it's like life is kind of really bad right now. I don't know what benefit you get from focusing on people who are just trying to live their lives and do what they think is best, right? I think a lot of times what ends up happening is confirmation bias. So it's, us seeking out information just to confirm what we already believe, or even if we're presented with new information, just finding a way to twist it in a way that just confirms what we already believe. So if you think that Tucker Carlson not sharing his vaccination status is a good thing, right? You might be fitting it into your belief that Tucker Carlson can do no wrong, or that he is right about so many more things, or that the leftists, the Antifa, the trans folks are coming in and ruining America. America is still the greatest nation in the world, and the thing that made America so great is diversity. And so the idea that we are ever going to go back to the way things used to be, or that new people are ruining everything, is so un-American to me, because your ancestors didn't come from here. Unless you're Native Americans, none of your ancestors came from here. And I think the differences really make us special, like really makes America what it is, so that all of our strengths are there to shine. I understand that there's going to be people who are very frustrated with change, even changing ourselves or the way that we think about ourselves, the thoughts that we have, how we relate to people is difficult, can be painful. I know, like, my 10-year journey of who I am now, Shareece Peace Level 10,000, came with some pain and came with letting things go and came with learning new things and new relationships, all those things. It's difficult. I understand that. But my question to you watching is, are you happy and satisfied with the way that your life is right now? If you paused, if there is some hesitation, if your answer is no, you're not happy with the way things are in your life right now, I would strongly encourage you to stop watching the news. Read the news if you have to. Sometimes I read headlines when I want to know what's going on in the world. Don't listen to these people. Please, don't listen to these people. Acknowledge that you can have confirmation bias. I'm not exempt to confirmation bias. I purposefully seek out contradicting information to see what makes sense together when combined together, what's polar opposites, to see if I can find like a happy medium somewhere in the middle. My goal here is to get you to question the way you're doing things. Focus more on you, because when you focus on you, you have the power to change your life. I think life is what a dream. Like, we are here in Earth School, it's like a dream, and you can create whatever life you want here. And I'm hoping that you want a life that's kind to other people, the kindest you can be to other people, the kindest you can be to yourself, where all your dreams are able to come true, where you are in service to other people and you're loving on the people that are closest to you and helping to make this world a better place. Because I think the one ripple spreads, and as you gain more consciousness in the world, the whole world gains elevated consciousness. Let me know what you think in the comments. Remember to like, subscribe, share this video with someone you think it may help, and thank you for watching.